the mushrooming of these high-rise buildings a sign of growth or what?
To some extent, it is a sign of growth. However, it should be done with some caution. You need to do some research into what you're doing. Because you see other people being successful at it doesn't mean it just happens overnight, which is why we have some empty buildings at the moment.
Right. Let's talk now a bit about those empty buildings. A lot of them, people leaving. Why or what do you think could be or could have been the issue on this issue of the occupancy rate? A lot of them having very low occupancy rate.
The occupancy rates, one is price. In Kigali, when you're paying between $20 to $25 per square meter, that's expensive you don't have a lot of private sector entities here. So you're talking about NGOs primarily and smaller businesses. So you don't have enough business to fill those properties. So what you need to do is lower the prices. But what we have is some developers will sit on the property for a year or two empty before giving a lower price. And also feasibility studies should have been done to see what the market is asking for. The days are gone when you simply build a building and
expect people to
come. No, it doesn't happen because Kigali has grown so much that there's so much space available. So what you need to do is to question what is the market asking for and what's the price that the market is willing to pay.
But Natalie, you're saying that these investors, these people who have actually put up these buildings should lower the prices if they see that people are not actually occupying them. But they'll be arguing and saying, look, how do I make money? How do I cut even after spending a lot of money shipping in, because Rwanda is landlocked, shipping in the equipment, and now I've calculated the price for one of my units at this particular rate because of what I actually spent on it. Now you want me to lower it down so that I meet the market prices? How?
Yes, because as we have a saying in Jamaica, a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. And basically, if you have a client that's a tenant that's paying you $12 per square meter and they take the property now, versus you asking for 20 and you sit on the building empty for 2 years, you're better off taking the $12. The math makes sense because then you're going to end up in a default, which means your building is going to be liquidated. The bank is going to take it. So it's better to get something than nothing. The problem here is a lot of people build a building and start from the point of the profit they want to make. That's backward. You need to be able to, you need to look at the cost, how much you can actually get for rent, not what you want for rent. And then from there, see how much you can make. And when you do the calculations that way, you see whether or not it's feasible for you to do this construction.
Right. Let's talk about the Rwandan market now. Basing on that principle, do you think the people, or most of them, from your analysis, from the streets you've walked around and seen some of the buildings, do you think that due diligence and all these factors are usually considered? And probably what sort of advice would you be giving moving forward?
I am saying to you, absolutely not. And I'm not just putting it at the foot of the developers. I'm also saying to the banks. You cannot just give random loans without proper feasibility studies. I'm sure if you ask the average person here, where do I get a feasibility study done on real estate investment? Nobody can name you anywhere because it's not part of how business is done, which is what is causing the problem. You need a proper feasibility study done to see if it makes sense.
So what you're saying is there's an opportunity there for investment in such kind of a job?
Yes.
People who do feasibility studies?
Yes.
So that's an investment opportunity here in Rwanda.
And also Forrest Jackson Properties, we do that also. And there's one other real estate company who I think they also do the same thing. Utilize us. You have to be strategic now. Rwanda has grown past the days when there's so many gaps that you just do something and it will work because you're starting from zero, basically. Rwanda is way beyond that now. So now you have to be more strategic. You have to know your market, know what is feasible. Because Eugene did a building 10 years ago and now has retired and can send all his children to the schools that they want to go and made a lot of money. Doesn't mean now in 2018, almost 2019, you can do the same thing.
Right.
You have to do the feasibility study.
Do the feasibility study. Let's take a minute and talk a bit about the ongoing review of the master plan, because that also has a lot to play on what sort of building is actually put up in a certain place. You've been a bit critical on probably how this whole thing is done. And so you've actually been saying or arguing that the city needs to actually decide what sort of buildings should be put there based on the needs of the people of those areas and not just to dictate that this has to be put here. Talk to me a bit about that.
So it's a balancing act because I can understand where the city of Kigali is coming from when they make these rules. Because Rwanda, what has helped Rwanda to be this great is that Rwanda thinks big. And you have to think big to be great. And it's fabulous. But also now, we need to step back a little bit and review what has happened. And so I think the master plan, the review of the master plan is a great time to do this because you need to look at it, not just in terms of commercial building, but let us look at Bumbogo. Nobody thinks about Bumbogo. Every time I mention Bumbogo, people are like, what is she talking about?
Yeah.
So we just had Carnegie Mellon build their university campus there.
Yeah.
We have 3 other universities or 2 other universities who have applied for their campuses to go there.
Yeah.
But on the master plan, Bumbogo is listed residential is only G. You can only build a ground level building. Doesn't make sense for universities. You need at least G plus 2, which is ground plus 2 floors, or G plus 3.
Yeah.
Because how else are you going to make residential homes for students?
So Natalie, but then how do we fuse, the needs of those investors and their regulators so that we have win-win situation?
Regulators need to talk to those of us in the field.
Yeah.
They need to just check with us who are out there every day. As I said, years gone by, you didn't have a lot of real estate companies in Rwanda, but today you do have real estate companies with competent people to provide advice. Talk to those of us in the field because, for example, I'm still waiting for them to change the master plan in Bumbogo.
Yeah.
Can't just be G. Let us do G plus 2, G plus 3. So if the mayor is listening, G plus 2, G plus 3 is what makes sense.
Perfect.
But just talk to us.
Talk to you. Thank you so much, Natalie, for accepting to talk to us today.
My pleasure as usual.
To keep in